Get strong.
A lot has happened since I had the surgery prior to COVID, and I wanted to check in and give you guys an update on how it's been going. So, since my last update, I have returned to playing sports. I've been playing soccer and baseball. I've been doing some running, some cycling, and weightlifting. Um, and that includes, a lot of the, major weightlifting, I guess, all of the major lifts, right? So like squat, deadlift, and then a lot of other leg workout, isolated leg lifts, using different machines at the gym, doing things like lunges, and that kind of stuff. So my leg has been performing very well. It's still slightly smaller and not as strong, or at least the vastus medialis, the inner quad, is smaller and not quite as strong as on the non-operated leg, but it's still been doing very well. Other than a few times where it felt like some of the surgical adhesions, some of the scar tissue tore, and that was pretty painful. The knee has been great. It doesn't hurt. There's no soreness. There's no throbbing. There's nothing really of any concern. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's been super stable. It's been performing very well. It's still continuing to get stronger. The range of motion, which was an issue for a while, has been getting better and better. The non-operated leg, my left leg, I can go knee to butt on, very easily. But the operated leg, my right leg, is still about 10 degrees off from the other leg, but that gap is decreasing. I do stretching, rehab type exercises on a daily basis, and that gap is continuing to close. So, maybe like the next 6 months or so, I'll have, or I'll be able to go knee to butt as well on that leg, which would be great. So I guess also I have had an MRI done. So I was, still working with the sports surgeon that did my surgery, and he ordered an MRI of my knee, and took a look at it. And, it showed that it was healing, that the scaffolding's working, that the stem cell adjunct is working, that, not only is the meniscus fully healed, but the ACL is healing as well. So for those who don't really know, it usually takes like 18 to 24 months for an ACL to fully heal and strengthen, assuming you are putting on the progressive loading and going back to returning to sport. And so that is definitely in progress. So hopefully, near the end of those 24 months, I will be back to normal. And, my right leg will be as good as my left leg. We're still not quite there. I'd say it's probably 90 to 95%. But that's great. And the MRI also showed, no abnormalities, right? So like, he didn't have to drill into the bone to do the surgery, like they would for a typical reconstruction. And so, there's not, any oddities in the bone, no degradation, no demineralization, as you can see sometimes with a typical reconstruction. And, maybe some of the things you might be concerned about with the stem cell adjunct therapy that I had done, getting like neoplasm, like a cancer or something there. There's no evidence of that. There's no cysts, there's no cancers, there's no nodules, there's no nothing. So everything looks great. It's vascularized and very healthy. I've never had clicking, no locking, no nothing. So I'm very, very happy with how things have gone. So yeah, really other than the range of motion and the, decline in the strength of the vastus medialis, the inner quad, which likely wasn't actually due to the surgery. It was more likely due to the pressure cuff that they used during the surgery. And as can be somewhat expected, or like is fairly well documented in scientific literature, using a high pressure cuff essentially induces hypoxia because they're trying to reduce blood flow to the surgical field, like where they're actually operating. And reducing the blood flow can obviously cause, some muscle damage and muscle death. And so I think that's what actually happened. I don't think it's a lack of innervation to the quad from like the knee trying to protect itself. I think that we'd probably be past that point, especially with all the activity that I've done, all of the physical therapy, massages, like everything that I've done for it. I would hope that my nervous system would have relaxed, by now and allowed my muscles to do their thing. It's still possible that it's an issue with the nerves in the area. But again, I'll continue to test it. And regardless of whether either of those issues is the actual cause, the gap between the strength and size of that quad is still approaching that of the non-operated leg anyway, right? So it's still improving and continuing to improve over time. And so I'm not really worried about it regardless of, whether it was caused by the pressure cuff or whether it's still, my nervous system trying to protect my knee. So yeah, I also, wanted to mention this in case anyone was curious. I have these surgical vids of the surgeon working on my knee, injecting the stem cells, putting in the scaffold, like all of that. In case anyone wants to see them, I could put together a video where they're kind of spliced together. I also was closely monitoring my progress and doing, kind of like the typical questionnaires, like the Womack score and the Tegner score and all of that for knee health while I was doing recovery. So like every 2 to 4 weeks. So there's, like a steady increase in those scores over time. And those scores really represent kind of like the functionality of the knee and your ability to walk and do typical behaviors with or without being impaired, right? So I have that. And then I also have some pics of like my legs side by side from like, pre-surgery, post-surgery, and then, where they're at now. So you can kind of like see the progression. So if anyone, really wants to see that, let me know in the comments below and I will make it happen for you. Otherwise, thanks for watching the vid, guys. If you have any questions, any comments, you want to know more about the surgery, you want to know more about the surgeon, just let me know and I'd be happy to let you know. So thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in and stay safe. Have a good one. Bye.